Hey everyone, and welcome to your January 2023 readings. I hope that this year is off to a really great start for you. We're going to get right into it, so I'm just going to say a couple things really quickly. If this message resonates with you, please consider giving it a like. This is a new channel I'm going to be spending a lot more time building, and it kind of helps it out, so that would be appreciated. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing as well, because I'm going to be putting out a lot more content. There's going to be full moon readings, new moon readings, plus the monthly readings and some astrology stuff on the horizon for 2023. Also, if you're not following me over on Instagram, consider following me over there, just because I hop on and do something monthly that I'm bringing back called Cards and Cocktails, which is just really fun to do. I also do random readings. I just pop on and decide that I want to do that. So if you want kind of like free quickie readings, that's a good place to find me. Last thing I'll say is if you want to book a personal reading with me, all of that information is down below. So I'll see you in the reading. Bye. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your January 2023 reading. Here we go. Let's get into it. So we're going to take a look at what is happening as a progression through the month, so you have an idea of just how it's going to go, how the story builds for you this month. So that just popped out. All right, so here we go. Beginning and middle of the month, and oh, I like it. You know, there's one other sign, I can't remember at the moment, that actually had that. And then we're going to take a look at the last part of the month. So, here we go. All right, the Two of Wands is how we're beginning this month and the beginning of this calendar Gregorian New Year. If you guys can hear that in the background, that is my kitty. She's playing with the door. So we have you being at the precipice of creating a new world. Normally you would actually see in the tarot deck, this would be holding a globe like that looks like the world. And here we have this kind of really magical looking sphere or like maybe diamond looking kind of crystal that is there in the presence of her hand, right? And so really she's looking out and looking forward. She has all the possibility available to her. So this is you being at the precipice of creating your next new world and being able to create anything that it is that you want. You have the possibility, the ability to create anything, to go in any direction that you actually want to go in. And so this is ripe with love, with life, with creativity, with desire, with passion, with whatever it is that you want to create. And I think that's really appropriate because, you know, I mean, even though it is a Gregorian calendar New Year, it is a collective time where we are all as a society looking forward and wanting to create something new. You know, even as businesses look forward into the next year on the Gregorian calendar, they're looking at quarterly you know, goals, right? Like what's happening in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. You know, when the wheel turns and we look at the next year, the numerical year, we're looking at what are we creating next? How does this next year look? We're usually standing at, like, metaphorically on a cliff overlooking a valley and kind of observing the big picture and trying to figure out what is it that we want to create. And that's what this card is actually all about. So I feel like that's really appropriate for where we're starting out with this particular month. Then we move into the middle of the month and we have the Hierophant, right? And the Hierophant, I think, is actually one of the most misunderstood cards of the tarot deck. And in fact, it's one that took me many, many years to reconcile my thoughts and feelings about, because generally it's actually considered a card that is about tradition and that is about holding to traditions and holding to maybe things that feel stale from the past. But really the Hierophant is meant to be, and I know that this is controversial, right? Because it's depicted as the Pope in a lot of decks, right? Especially in the Rider-Waite, it's depicted as the Pope. But really it's meant to be like this spiritual person, this kind of teacher, this guidance person who is a conduit and who is a source of knowledge and wisdom that can channel wisdom and intuition and guidance for people through the higher powers, through the higher realms and other dimensions to the people, right? So it's a place of learning and a place of teaching. It's a place of exploration. It's a place of belief. It's a place of philosophy. So this is actually very much reminds me of the ninth house in astrology, right? So this is a place where in the middle of the month, I think that you are exploring, maybe looking for a teacher, or exploring different kinds of ways to deepen into a certain kind of learning that you are exploring for yourself right now. You know, maybe you're learning not necessarily in a collegiate way, not necessarily in like on that kind of traditional path, but you might be choosing to expand yourself on a personal growth level, or perhaps you are expanding your knowledge like in spiritual ways that you're doing like on your own. It doesn't mean that it needs to be through a person or in a community or anything like that. But I think that there's a searching, like there's a philosophical searching. There is like a, sorry guys, I just see my cat looking over my table. Anyway, there's a searching that is occurring. So I think that you're on some kind of quest to figure out like what is it that you actually are wanting to create, and what is it that you're going to create that's going to actually stand the test of time, because we have the 10 of laurels here. The laurels are the earth suit, right, which would be the pentacles or the coins in any other tarot deck. And so what we have here is like wanting to create something that is a legacy, not just for children and to like, you know, your seed to go forward necessarily, but this can actually be about like what you want to create that will stand the test of time, something that is a contribution to humanity as a whole, something that is a contribution that you feel has an impact. And it doesn't have to be like some lofty goal at all, but it can actually just be that you want to actually create something that has an impact and that has a lasting impact. So I feel like you're up to like very big and broad kind of exploration in this particular month, in the first month of this year, right? So there is like, you're on the precipice of creating something, and there's like ripe possibility, and you have the ability to see not only what you could create, but to feel into what it is that you feel passionate and desirous and about creating, right? And then there is this like philosophical approach to life. There is this kind of learning and teaching and doing the inquiry, right? And also exploring, especially as somebody who's Aquarian, who traditionally Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, but also in modern astrology is ruled by Uranus, which is like the rebel, which is the innovative thinker, right? Which is someone who is inventive and creative and a disruptor. And the disruptive nature doesn't have to be disruptive in a negative way. It could be a disruptor in a way that allows for new life and new ideas to come forth. And so I feel like this particular card is like an exploration of your energy and like what it is that you want to contribute and what it is that you want to create. And that impact and how it moves forward is coming through in the end of the month. So I hope that this makes sense. These are like very big picture kind of ideas. So let's take a look at what's coming through as a challenge for you this month. Very interesting. Okay, so we have 2 cards coming through for the challenge this month. And I'm going to stick with this deck actually. And we're going to take a look at what is the spiritual advice coming through to help you with that. Normally I work across many decks, and I have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 decks around me right now. So, all right. So let's take a look here. So, first we have the 9 of Cups, and then we have the Devil card. So, Nine of Cups in a challenge position, right? So we're not looking at this as if it were upright. We're looking at this in a challenge position. And if we're looking at the Nine of Cups in a challenge position, I'm going to say that you have become complacent and lazy, actually, about the things that you need to be looking at. I'm not trying to like call you out in some kind of way. I'm not going to say that you are lazy about getting things done that need to get done in your life. I'm saying that there are things about that you need to be facing, and you're resting on your laurels as opposed to actually having some forward movement. I mean, there's only so long that you can rest on your laurels. Yes, celebrate your successes, celebrate your achievements, and also life still continues. And the harsh truth is that there is a point at which you need to actually move forward. So there is this call out. You're being called out about this particular energy. Now, we also have the Devil card, which it's going to seem really counterintuitive, but this is about being chained to certain kinds of obligations and overworking, being overly obsessed. Now, for some of you, if you're looking at this in terms of a relationship, this is meaning that the relationship that you're actually considering is a very toxic relationship. It's obsessive, it's toxic, it's not good, and it needs to be left alone. For others of you who are dealing with maybe living a muggle kind of life that feels like you are trapped and feeling like you're doing things out of obligation, you're doing things out of necessity, you're doing things out of, it's not in integrity with your soul, with yourself, with what feels good to you. It's doing things out of what is considered right, the right thing to do, the right path, the way that things are supposed to go. Whether that's in your career, in your relationships, whatever it is, but that is a crossing point that is hard. This is also about just being like overly committed as well, in a way that is inauthentic and that doesn't actually serve you. So that's really important. I don't want to underemphasize this. I actually want to overemphasize this particular card. When the Nine of Cups comes up in a challenge position, I see that as just being like you're in a place where you really need to snap out of it. You cannot continue, how do I want to put that? You cannot continue to slide by. Your past accomplishments were great and you can appreciate them for what they were, but that doesn't actually hold any sway on what comes next. And this is a new chapter. You're meant to move in a new direction. And this is something that already happened. And there's only so long that you can milk this. And I'm not trying to be a hard ass, believe me. Out of all the people that I know, I'm the least hard ass. So, but I'm just saying, for some of you, that's going to really resonate. Now, what is your spiritual advice, right? So your spiritual advice that's actually coming through is the Hermit. I know that you need to take time. For whoever this message is resonating with, you need to actually take time to go within and ask yourself the big picture questions. You can't keep doing, right? You can't keep just going and filling your time and your space with your projects and with people and with work and with things and with blah, 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 blah. You need to actually find the time to take some space from people, especially now. Like if you're in the northern hemisphere and it is winter for you, such luck. What a really great time. Definitely harder if you're somewhere like Australia and it's warmer climate right now, to isolate yourself. But this is a time for you to actually take the time to ask yourself the big picture questions. What do I want now? Now, as who I am now, not who I was a year ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago, before I was a mother or father, before I was a partner, before anything. No, who am I now at this point? What excites me now? What do I feel passionate about now? Where do I want to move forward now? What do I want to create now? What lights me up now? What turns me on now? Right? Who am I now, and what do I want? What do I want to create? It all comes back to this. That is your internal compass. So this is what there is to pay attention to. And I hope that this is really helpful for you, Aquarius. Let me know in the comments down below if you have questions. And if this resonated with you, Aquarius sun, rising, or moon sign, then please give it a like. It helps the channel to be built, and I'm trying to build this channel this year. I'm actually going to spend a lot more time on here. Please subscribe if you, or consider subscribing. I'm going to be posting new moon and full moon readings, as well as the monthly readings and some astrological stuff on the horizon for both tropical and sidereal this year. And if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me there. The information is down in the description box below. I do sometimes pop on to do random readings because I just feel like it for free, like little mini readings, but I also am bringing back monthly cards and cocktails, which is something I used to do, which is a lot of fun. So, and if you want a personal reading, also down in the description box. So without any more to say, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.